Hi, welcome back to the CQI Toolkit tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at the transport tool. Right, in the transport tool we have the current cost of petrol and the current cost of diesel. These are free text, you can actually change them because petrol prices fluctuate so much. It's also within any given area from your geographical location. You can have a range of petrol stations with different prices. So what we've got here is a little link into petrolprices.com. You'll put in your postcode and it will give you an example of some prices. I'm just going to leave these as they are for the time being, but you can change them if needs be. We have a drop down menu next to the vehicle, and we've got some very generic vehicles in, or you can add a custom entry. If you add your custom entry, you need to know certain bits of information like is your car petrol or diesel, and what's the CO2 emissions in the car. But I'll just select one of these, just an example. So I'm going to select the Toyota Eagle. The number of users actually relates to the number of vehicles in your fleet. So you can actually calculate this off one person, so your own fuel prices, or if you're a manager, you can actually look at your staff and fleet. So there's a little information bar which just tells you it's number of vehicles, not passengers. It's also highlighted at the side, it's number of vehicles. I'll put one in for the example. Your mileage reimbursement rate is the amount your members of staff would claim back in mileage. This again can be changed, but I'm just going to leave it on the generic one. We've then got a distance travelled before and a distance travelled after. Now you can use this tool for a range of different things. A good example would be to actually build a business case for mobile working. So for this you might have a fleet of cars, but what we'll do is we're just going to put in distance travelled, and we're going to do 10,000 miles per annum. But just bear in mind you can change these into daily transportations, weekly. You can do it off monthly or annual. This one we're going to base off annual, and then for this business case we're going to say we want to reduce the mileage down to, we'll go 5,000, just we'll half it just because it makes the calculations easier to explain. Now it's set as default for once per day, once per week, once per month, and once per annum. Because we're basing this off annual miles, we're just going to leave all these as they are, but you can go into any of them and change them. What it will then do is it gives you a breakdown of the fuel savings, reduction in claimed miles. So again, we did half that mileage, so it's showing you there. The reduction in CO2 emissions and the reduction in expenses. Now, on this is not very interesting displayed in that way. So what I'll do is I'm going to save this, and we're going to jump into one of our tools, which we'll go into some detail later on. But if I do the drop down and we go on to report template, when you come to reporting on this, there is some drop down menus here. Now if I select the transport savings, it gives you exactly the same information, but it's in a more visual format. So normally when we would report on these, would like to have visuals involved, so it has that little bit more impact. So it shows you the savings at the fuel pump, the savings in miles, savings in CO2 emissions, and the savings in expenses claimed, and it just has that little bit more impact. But we will move on to this tool later on in the tutorial series. But that's it for the transportation tool.